Alright guys, welcome to my Wrath of the Lich King 70 to 80 dungeon grinding guide. We're going to cover absolutely everything you need to know in this guide. Should you be doing 3-man, 4-man, 5-man, 2-man, whatever? What classes should you be bringing? How to make the perfect comp? What cheeky big boy quests can we pick along the way for some extra bonus experience? And also how to prevent yourself from going absolutely insane during this process. Our first thing to consider is your composition. If you're really trying to min-max this, some classes definitely stand out more than others. The S tier classes are definitely going to be the Unholy DK, the Boomkin and the Fire Mage, and by extent possibly the Frost Death Knight. This is because they have totally uncapped AoE damage. For example, Living Bomb, you can put out as many targets as you want and it will blow up for great damage. The Unholy Death Knight can put their diseases on one target and spread it to an infinite amount of close by targets. So when you are doing big, immense pulls, these classes are going to shine more. To be honest, all the other DPS are more than good enough. Apart from maybe the Rogue. You know, the Warlock, Hunter, Enhancement, Ret Paladin, Warrior, Ellie Shaman, Pharaoh Druid, they're all great, they have great cleave. Pharaoh Druid has to wait until level 71 before they get their cleave ability. But yeah, to be honest, all of the DPS are fairly good at cleave DPS. This really is the age of every class having AoE. The only issue with Rogue is they don't get Final Knives until level 80, so they only have cooldown cleave abilities. And to be honest, if you're free manning, then you're not going to be pulling an immense amount of mobs anyway, so all of the DPS are probably fairly equal to each other. It's just a Rogue that has issues. Now, best tanks, definitely Prot Paladin and Warrior. Although, to be honest, the Unholy Blood Hybrid tank for the Death Knight is also pretty good, and to be honest, Feral isn't that bad either. I just say that the Prot Paladin and the Warrior definitely stand out more, purely because they can just do more damage. When it comes to healers, I would honestly just pick the healer that is going to be the most consistent. Plus, if you don't already have a Shaman in the group, then Resto Shaman probably will be slightly better because of that Bloodlust. Now, if you are somewhat geared, I would recommend free manning the dungeon so you don't hit the instant cap resets. As a 5-man, I can absolutely guarantee you will have to be standing around 10 to 15 minutes between pulls. I mean, fair enough, you can go run out and do some quests or something, but overall, this is a waste of time. Because of the weird way that instance resetting works, you can do 5 runs in your first hour, but then on the second hour and furthermore, you can only do 4 per hour. So weirdly, the slower you do the dungeon, the better, because you've got to bear in mind that when there's less people in the group, you gain more experience points per kill. And be sure to clear all of the mobs in the dungeon. There's no point skipping anything, you're not rushing to the end to get loot. You need to kill as many mobs as possible to gain as much XP per hour as possible. It's important to mention that some people have actually managed to 2-manning strats, for example with a Holy Paladin and a Protection Warrior. There's people even just having a tank and a DPS actually skipping the healer, and then there's even people soloing dungeons. I recommend checking that out. There's a few videos out there on YouTube right now. I might make a video in the future about all of the 2-manning strats. Some people have actually tested 3-manning dungeons without a healer as well, so for example Prot Paladin, Boomkin and Unholy DK, if you're somewhat geared, the mobs just absolutely melt before they can really do enough damage to the tank. Tanks are more than capable of keeping themselves alive, they can actually solo the dungeon, well most of the tanks can anyway, and then you've got the Boomkin to off-heal if it's needed. Just something to consider. But let's jump into the grind itself. You need to know what dungeons are best in what level ranges, because obviously the XP starts to nerf when you're too high level for a certain dungeon. We also need to know what quests are worth getting for a little bit of extra XP. So 70 to 73, you're definitely going to do the Nexus. This is around 150,000 experience points per run. There's 3 big boy quests inside. First of all, you've got Reading the Meters, and this chains into Postponing the Inevitable. That's the one that's done in the dungeon. You have They No Shame, you can instantly pick that one up. You've also got Secrets of the Ancients, it's a chain that leads into the Quickening. Level 73 till 77, you're going to do Ankahet, with a quest run in Azol Narub, but Ankaret is the better one to grind. So in Ankahet, you've got Funky Fungi, that drops from a Savage Cage Beast. And you've also got the Faceless ones, which you can quickly pick up outside of the instance. And then level 77 to 80, you can just grind Halls of Lightning, although I would recommend also doing a little quest run in Halls of Stone, because you may as well do it. Now, if you don't want to go completely insane in the process of doing dungeon grinding, you definitely have to pick people to do it with who you know aren't going to drive you insane. You know, chill people who aren't going to rage too much when things go wrong, and people who are actually going to stay consistent, because this grind can take probably about 28 hours. If you're really fast, maybe like 24. And if you're mental enough to do that in one session, then yeah, you probably are going to be at each other's throats by the end of that session. So honestly, it might be a better idea to stay in Discord for a little bit, get the runs nailed down, get it practiced, and then get out of Discord and start watching Netflix. My top 3 picks for Netflix series to watch while you are grinding is definitely going to be The Sandman, The Witcher, and then also Thieves of the Wood. Thieves of the Wood is a really cool period piece about a kind of Robin Hood character from real medieval history, and it's actually set in Belgium. It's definitely a little bit of a rare gem. You will have to watch it dubbed because the whole thing is actually in Flemish. But if you like your dark, gritty period pieces like Taboo with Tom Hardy, and that's another good suggestion, although there's only one season of that, I mean, you might like it. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Let's end the video. My name is MetaGoblin. To my next video. Ciao.